There's some serious competition right now in the budget mini wireless mic space, and today we're competing 3 of the top wireless mics against each other: the Hollyland Lark M2, the DJI Mic Mini, and the Rode Wireless Micro. And we're specifically looking at the combo kit for each of these microphones. So the way that we're going to do this is compare these microphones based on about 15 different criteria, things like design, features, sound quality, and a lot more. And then we're going to award 3 points to the top performer, 2 points to second place, and 1 point to the last place microphone for each of the criteria that we're measuring. And then at the end, we're going to tally up the score so you can see the results, and then hopefully along the way, you're able to decide for yourself which mic is best for you.
You gotta just press record.
Let's quickly highlight a few of the commonalities between all of these microphones. First and foremost, these are all wireless microphones, so you don't have to be anchored to one location. You have the freedom to move around because all of these are wireless microphones. They also all have a clip-on design or can magnetically be attached to your shirt or the hot shoe of a camera. Also, none of these have built-in audio recording, so they have no onboard memory. They can only record directly to a camera or a cell phone device. And finally, they all have a black or white option, so you can choose whatever color you prefer. All right, now let's dive into round one. First up is price point, and the most expensive mic on our list is the DJI Mic Mini, which is $169 for the combo kit. And with that, you're gonna get 2 transmitters and 1 receiver, as well as the charging case and a padded carrying case for all the additional accessories. Because this mic is the most expensive on our list, it's only gonna get 1 point. The second most expensive is the Rode Micro, and that's $149, but you only get either the USB-C version or the Lightning version. So this comes in 2 different versions, and it's $149 for each of them. So while it is cheaper than the DJI, you have to choose between USB-C or Lightning. And then the cheapest mic on our list is the Hollyland Lark M2 combo kit, which is $139. It's been that way for the last 6 months or so, except for on Black Friday. It hit around $111, I believe, which is an insane price point. So if you can find it on sale, even better. But it's the cheapest mic on our list for $139, so that's going to get 3 points for this category. The next category is mic design. And so my least favorite designed microphone would have to be the Rode Wireless Micro, specifically because it is actually the largest. And when you are looking at the mini microphone options, typically you want it to be small, and this one is more of a rectangular shape, which actually makes it a little bit easier to handhold if you want to handhold the microphone. But in terms of clipping it onto your shirt, it's definitely the bulkiest and the largest one. Also, there's no buttons on the microphone, so you can't control the mic in a lot of ways, which we'll talk about later. Our second place mic in terms of design is going to be the DJI Mic Mini. It's actually a very similar design to the Hollyland, except it's more of a rectangular with rounded corners shape, versus the Hollyland is an actual circle. I do like that you get 2 physical buttons on the Mic Mini to control the microphone. The only thing I don't love about the design is the fact that the cold shoe clip right here is actually not removable. So it actually makes the mic a little bit bulkier and thicker than I feel like it needs to be. I wish that clip was removable because that would just make it feel even smaller. But all things considered, the design is actually pretty solid. And then in first place with mic design would actually be the Hollyland Lark M2. It's such a small little design, and they've actually stripped away all the accessories from the microphone itself. So the mic is really just this tiny little microphone that you can put anywhere, but they also give you all the accessories if you need to beef it up a little bit or put a hot shoe attachment on it or other accessories. It all comes with the kit. There is 1 button on the side, so you're able to control the microphone in a few different ways. And overall, I think it's my favorite in terms of design, with the DJI Mic Mini being a really close second. Our next criteria is weight, and I decided to weigh all of these with their magnets as well, because most of them you're gonna use the magnet, so I just wanted to take that into account. So with the Rode, you got 18 grams, so this is by far the heaviest, so only 1 point here. With the DJI Mic Mini, I got 14 grams with the magnet attached. So that's going to be second place. And then the lightest microphone would be the Hollyland. Even with the magnet, it's only 9 grams, which is really light. Our next criteria is the case. How do these cases stack up? What is the best case? Well, in last place, in my opinion, is going to be the Hollyland, because when you buy the combo kit, you only get the case that fits the camera receiver and then the 2 microphones. Nothing else fits inside of this case. So in order to carry everything else around, you're going to have to carry around also this cloth pouch to have all the other accessories that this kit comes with. It's really not that big of a deal, but in terms of all 3 of these, I'd say this is my least favorite. Second place here is going to be the Rode Wireless Micro. I actually really like the design of this case. It really reminds me of kind of like an AirPods case. It's only a little bit bigger than an AirPods case, and everything just fits really nicely and secure in here. It's very easy to carry around, and it's by far the easiest case to use. But first place is going to be the DJI Mic Mini's case. This case is amazing. It's super functional and practical. It's really well built as well, and you can actually fit everything inside and store all of the contents inside the lid of the hard case, which is an incredible design. They were really thinking through things when they made this case right here. And then if you want to, it also comes with a soft shell case that you can leverage however you want, but you don't necessarily have to use it because everything fits inside the lid. All right, our next category is specifically the audio receiver units. How are these audio receivers? And in last place here is going to be the Rode again, unfortunately. This really is just a plug and play receiver. It works for mobile devices or other USB devices or Lightning devices. The problem here is there's no physical buttons on the receiver, so you can't really control any settings here. And then pairing is also just done in their Rode app. So if you can't get the transmitters to connect to the receiver, you're gonna have to dive into the app and try to troubleshoot it. And it's just a little bit cumbersome when it comes to using the receiver. However, most of the time it works pretty seamlessly. It's just kind of a plug and play design and is really not that hard to use. Second place here is the Hollyland Lark M2. And the reason is because you get 3 different receivers, which is both a pro and a con. You can have your dedicated receiver for whatever you need, but it would be nice if it was an all-in-one solution where there was some sort of adapter you could use or something. But if you want to connect the Hollyland to your camera, you have to use one receiver. If you want to connect it to a Lightning device, it's a different receiver. And if you want it USB-C, that's actually a different receiver as well. So it's a little bit more complex to carry all of those around depending on what your needs might be. And first place here is going to be the DJI. I actually really like this receiver, and it gives you some good options like a physical switch for adjusting your audio gain to plus or minus 6 decibels or even plus 12 or minus 12 decibels as well. Straight out of the box, it'll work with any sort of camera that has a 3.5 millimeter input. You just plug it into the 3.5 millimeter slot on the side of the receiver, plug that into the camera, and then you're good to go. It also comes with a USB-C adapter to attach the receiver to different phones or computers if you want to use the mic that way. I think this receiver just gives you the most control over your microphone system. Our next criteria is sound quality. And by the way, a lot of these might be more important than others. So you sort of have to weight your own category, which one is most important. And obviously sound quality is really important. And I will say before I rank these, all of these do sound really good. All of them can get you really good sound results. And I think that if I had to rank them, last place is going to be the Hollyland Lark M2. And don't get me wrong, this thing still sounds really good. I just think that the Rode and the DJI are slightly just a little bit better, but it doesn't sound bad by any means. Second place here is going to be the Rode Wireless Micro. I actually really like the way this microphone sounds. Rode always does a really good job with their microphones, and the Wireless Micro, in my opinion, is no exception. I think this mic honestly sounds really good. I think my favorite sounding microphone though is the DJI Mic Mini. I just think it's the most natural sounding microphone, and it's the fullest sound and allows you the flexibility to EQ your sound to get it sounding exactly how you want it to sound. But let's just play a quick sound sample from each one of these microphones. This is a sound test with the Hollyland Lark M2, so you can hear how this microphone sounds. This is a sound test with the Rode Wireless Micro, so you can hear how this microphone sounds. This is a sound test with the DJI Mic Mini, so you can hear how this microphone sounds. So if I just had to choose one of these in terms of audio quality, it'd probably be the Mic Mini, but all of them do sound pretty solid. Our next category here is compatibility with different devices. And last place, unfortunately, is going to be the Rode because it only gives you the option to buy either the USB-C version or the Lightning version. And I actually have both of these, but the USB-C version is the one that I use for my iPhone 16 Pro and my laptop. And it even works with other USB devices like the DJI Pocket 3, which I thought was pretty interesting. So it does work with multiple different devices. It's just unfortunate that you're locked into either buying the Lightning version if you have an older iPhone or the USB-C version. You can't get both with this system right now. Second place here is gonna be the DJI Mic Mini. You can attach this to cameras as well as USB-C devices straight out of the box. But if you wanna connect to Lightning devices, that attachment's going to cost you an extra $20 to $25 depending on when you buy it. But a lot of people won't actually care about that. And if you don't have an older iPhone, it doesn't really matter to you. So USB-C and your camera input are the only two you're going to need for this anyways. You can also connect these microphones via Bluetooth wirelessly, which is kind of crazy, but the audio quality, in my opinion, doesn't sound that good. So I don't really know if this is a pro or a con necessarily, but it does work for Bluetooth devices as well. And it also works for wireless connectivity to several of DJI's devices that have a built-in audio receiver, like the DJI Action 4 and 5 and the Osmo Pocket 3 as well. So you can send wireless audio signal to these devices without needing any cables. And the only reason I put the Hollyland at first place is because you get all of the necessary adapters straight out of the box with the combo kit. So you can attach to Lightning devices, USB-C, or camera straight out of the box, and you don't have to worry about buying any other adapters. But I would say the DJI has a lot of flexibility if you're already in the DJI ecosystem in terms of some of their other action cameras. Our next category is battery life, and last place here is going to be Rode with only 7 hours of battery life, and then up to 21 hours if you include what the case can do in terms of charging in between uses. Second place will be the Hollyland, which is 10 hours of recording time, and then up to 30 hours when you factor in case charging in between uses. And then first place is the Mic Mini with 11 hours of record time and up to 48 hours with charging the case in between uses. So that's going to give you the most battery life by far. Our next category here is transmission range, and last place is unfortunately the Rode Wireless Micro at only 100 meters. And honestly, 100 meters is quite a bit, but when you compare it to the other two, it's definitely last place on the list. Our second place here is the Hollyland Lark M2 at 300 meters, which is going to give you a super far line of sight transmission range, as well as give you more confidence that your signal's not going to be dropping out if you have a subject who's a little bit closer to you, but is turning around, or maybe there's people passing by or something. Usually that transmission distance is going to give you better confidence that your signal's not going to be dropping out if your subject is going to be turning away from you or something like that. And the first place is the DJI Mic Mini at 400 meters transmission signal, which is absolutely wild. Our next category is noise reduction, and last place here is unfortunately the Rode Wireless Micro, because this actually doesn't even have noise reduction. So I can't even award it 1 point. It's going to actually get 0 points for this category because it doesn't even have the feature. So no noise reduction here. Second place will be the Hollyland Lark M2 because it actually does have 2 levels of noise reduction. It's strong and weak, but in my opinion, it does sound a little bit more robotic in terms of noise reduction. I'd usually keep it on the weaker setting so it doesn't sound too robotic, and I think it does an okay job, but not the best. And then in first place is the DJI Mic Mini, and it has 2 levels of noise reduction as well, strong and basic. Usually I'd keep it on the basic setting, and I find that it actually does a pretty good job at reducing some of the ambient noises outside, reducing the sound of my AC unit kicking on in my house, and things like that. Our next category is windscreens, and last place here is going to be the Hollyland Lark M2. It's this weird, huge windscreen that fits over the whole unit. It's honestly pretty hard to use and attach to the microphone, and then when it is attached, you can't even really see where your mic placement is. Like, what orientation is the microphone even in? Is the microphone facing the right direction? Can you even access the button? It's just not a great windscreen. Second place here would be the Rode Wireless Micro. I actually like this kind of cool design. The windscreen is attached to these sort of plastic pieces, and the microphone just slides in to the plastic part, and then it covers the mic capsule on top of the microphone. It's actually kind of a cool design and works pretty well. And first place is going to be the DJI Mic Mini. It actually comes with 2 different options, one windscreen for lighter wind situations and one for heavier wind conditions, and both of these windscreens attach really easily. I think this is a great windscreen solution. Our next criteria is apps and also the features that are in these applications. And last place here is going to be Rode. Unfortunately, you are able to do some basic controlling of the receiver and transmitters, like splitting your audio into stereo mode or merging it into mono mode. You can also control the brightness of the LEDs, but that's really all you can do with Rode's app. Second place is the Hollyland Lark M2. It's actually a pretty decent app. You can monitor and adjust your sound levels, also look at your pairing status. You can also select your noise cancellation to either strong or weak, and you can even upgrade your mic firmware by using this app right here. So overall, it's actually a pretty decent app from Hollyland. But first place again is going to be DJI. I think this is a very good app. It just works with the DJI Mimo app. So once you have your mic plugged in, it's going to recognize your microphone, and you can make lots of adjustments like noise cancellation, splitting your audio into stereo mode, or choosing mono. It also allows you to add a safety track feature, which is really awesome to make sure your audio is not clipping. There's also a low cut filter and also the ability to turn off your mic LED lights if you want those on or off. There's actually a lot of functionality with the DJI app, and I actually recommend it pretty highly. A couple more categories to go here. Next is camera control. Can you actually control your camera with some of these microphones? And last place here is actually going to be Rode, because you cannot. You cannot control your phone or your tablet or your camera with the Rode microphones. There's no buttons on the microphone, so you can't start or stop a recording from the Rode Wireless Micro, which is pretty unfortunate. Second place is the Hollyland Lark M2, and if you double click the power button, it actually starts a video recording on your phone device. So even actually if you're using a third-party app like the Blackmagic camera app, it will recognize the Hollyland's input signal for record, and you can double click that button and then it'll start recording in an app like that, or even just the native camera app. And then in first place is the DJI Mic Mini, because it only takes 1 button press. So if you press the link/pairing button, it will start recording a video in the native camera app, or even in something like the Blackmagic camera app. And our last criteria is just different kit variations. If you wanted to buy a different kit and you didn't need all the features, are there variations you can choose from? Well, unfortunately, last place is again going to be Rode, because you can only buy either the USB-C or Lightning versions. And either way, it's going to cost you $149. Second place here will be Hollyland. plan, and they actually have several variations from their combo kit, which is $139 at the time of recording this video. They also have USB-C and Lightning versions, which are set to different price points. And then if you don't want any of those other receivers and you just want one for your camera, they do make a 3.5mm receiver version. And I think it's $125 right now. But anyways, I'd probably just get the combo kit because it's not that much more expensive and you get all the options that you might ever need. And then first place is the DJI Mic Mini because they have several variations from $169 for their combo kit like we talked about, but you could also spend $89 and get one transmitter and one receiver, so that's a great price for that. And then if you want just one solo transmitter, you can pay $59, and then that's going to work with any of those DJI products like the Pocket 3 or the Action 5, as well as Bluetooth devices if you want to use the mic that way. Okay, so I know that's a huge deep dive with a bunch of different criteria, but let's look at the results. In third place is the Rode Wireless Micro with only 16 points. Honestly, this microphone didn't even win a single category, and it had like 15 chances to be better at any criteria, but it couldn't even do that one time. And it's sad because we love Rode. We use their products all the time. We recommend many of their microphones, but this microphone just couldn't compete with the other two mics on our list. Coming in at a very respectable second place is Hollyland with 29 points. It actually won first place in several different categories. It's a really great little microphone kit, comes with a lot of accessories, and it's the cheapest microphone on the list. So if you can especially find it on sale between $110 and $120, I think that's a really great buy for the combo kit. And I think this will be a great microphone for many years to come. And then coming in with a commanding first place finish is the DJI Mic Mini with 37 points. It took first place in 9 different categories and honestly stole the show here. Its only last place finish was in terms of price because it actually is the most expensive combo kit on our list. So honestly, that could be weighted in making your decision to go for the Hollyland Lark M2 because you want to spend a little bit less money. I get that. But if you are okay spending like, an extra $30 or $40 to grab the DJI Mic Mini kit, I think there's actually quite a few reasons why saving up just a tiny bit more for the DJI Mic Mini would make a lot of sense. If you do think the DJI Mic Mini is right for you, it pairs so nicely with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 camera. And we actually have a full review of this camera that you should check out right here on screen, and we'll see you in the next video.